Bill Goldberg is pissed off at WWE, and here's why. What happens when a Hall of Famer's epic retirement match ends, and instead of feeling grateful, he feels completely disrespected? Just days ago, the legendary Goldberg stepped into a WWE ring for the final time, facing a dominant World Heavyweight Champion in Gunther. This build is a special, history-making final chapter for one of the most explosive superstars of all time. But the real explosion happened after the match. You see a legend get a retirement match, and you assume it's a happy, celebratory occasion. You'd be dead wrong. Goldberg isn't just a little disappointed, he's quote-unquote pissed off. Because in a bombshell new interview, Goldberg has unloaded on WWE, revealing he was unhappy with the entire rundown of his retirement, and he is teasing that in 2 weeks, he's going to quote-unquote spill the beans and tell the full story of what really happened behind the scenes. But before we have to wait in 2 weeks, Uncle Bill is absolutely going off. Keep in mind that it was just a few short days ago. On July 12th, the WWE Hall of Famer wrestled his final match. It was a hard-fought battle against Gunther. In the main event, a freaking Saturday night's main event. After the loss, Goldberg gave an emotional farewell speech to the live crowd in hot Atlanta, joined by his family and friends. However, the segment was cut for time on the television broadcast, and now Goldberg has revealed that this send-off was just one part of an experience that left him pissed off. He said, a little less to be desired. Now, speaking on the Ariel Helwani show, Goldberg got brutally honest about his feelings regarding his retirement match. While grateful for the opportunity, he wasn't pleased with the execution of it, particularly with the time constraints of live TV. I can't say I was too thrilled about that part. Freaking 20 seconds with a microphone in my hand, for God's sakes, he said, referencing the short farewell speech that made it on the TV. Now, Goldberg, he made it clear from the start to the finish that the experience did not meet his expectations. He said, the entire rundown from the inception of the idea to its delivery was a little less than to be desired. He stated before adding, let's just say I'm pissed off at the way that I went out. I put so much into this, and I don't feel as though the effort was represented. I think it could have been done a little bit differently. Now, most intriguingly, Goldberg teased that he's not done talking yet. He said, I get 2 weeks, man. I get 2 weeks before I can really, spill the beans and, make my feelings kind of known about the entire situation. Now, I don't know what the 2 weeks mean. Maybe that's for the check to clear or the contract to expire. I don't know, but hey, we got to wait for 2 weeks. Now let's look at his relationship with WWE, Vince McMahon's unfulfilled promise, and talks with AEW. Because Bill Goldberg's storied career has been marked by explosive in-ring performances and a complex, often strained relationship with WWE and its former chairman, Vinnie Mac. A central point of contention in recent years has been a promised retirement match, a commitment Goldberg feels McMahon failed to honor to his satisfaction. This, coupled by his status, well, it led to discussions with rival promotion like AEW and others, though a deal never materialized. To the point where Goldberg went on record by saying, oh yeah, I had talks with AEW, yeah, I had talks with Tony Khan, but they're less than, right? He took shots at them, and it's ridiculous. And then we get to the failed promise. So Goldberg has talked about this in the past, and I absolutely love it. And this is according to Goldberg. He had an agreement with Vince McMahon for a proper retirement match. This understanding was a key factor in his decision to return for a match with Roman Reigns at a WWE event in Saudi Arabia a few short years ago. Now, Goldberg has publicly said that he agreed to put Reigns over with the expectation that he'd be granted a fitting final bout to end his career on his own terms. However, this promised match did not come to fruition in the way that the WWE Hall of Famer envisioned. Instead, he has expressed his frustration with Vinnie Mac prior to his departure from WWE because he did not get his promise delivered. Earlier this year, Goldberg stated, all I can say is Vince McMahon was always wonderful to me, other than giving me my retirement match, which is absolutely hilarious. Now, while a final match did eventually happen, obviously against Goldberg, Goldberg has been vocally disappointed with the experience, not only with Vince McMahon, but now with Triple H, okay? And now we're going to get more into background with his relationship with Vince McMahon. Goldberg's relationship with former WWE chairman and even WWE has been a roller coaster from the get-go. Going back to his initial run with the company from 2003 to 2004, it was rocky. Now, when he returned to WWE in 2016, there seemed to be a period of goodwillness, if you will. In a 2021 WWE documentary, Goldberg mentioned that he and McMahon had gotten much closer and that he had developed a friendship with him, which is nice. Now, despite this, it got soured yet again. Go back to late 2023, okay? So this is at a time where Goldie, he is outside the outs with WWE. In an interview, he went as far as to call Vinnie Mac a piece of crap for not holding up his end of the bargain regarding his final match. Okay? This was a pain point, and you got to understand that. Then there was also the well-documented real-life animosity between Goldberg and Triple H during Goldberg's first WWE run, which likely contributed to his initial friction within the company's management. Let's go back to his talks with AEW. This was at the end of 2022. Goldberg became a free agent and sparked a speculation of a potential move to AEW. AEW President Tony Khan confirmed in May of 2023 that he had spoken with Goldberg, citing their mutual friends and shared background in football as a common ground. And then Goldberg later clarified, hey, I never got close to signing with AEW, and a significant factor in this was the timing, particularly in relation to the retirement of another WCW icon, Sting. Now, Goldberg expressed that he reached out to Sting with the idea of a joint farewell tour, but ultimately it was Sting's moment and did not want to overshadow it. He said, it wasn't about me, indicating the timing was simply off for him to join AEW. Now, do I ever see Goldberg going to AEW? No, I don't think he fits that mold. And I think that was also one of the reasons why it was never going to work out. If you look at what AEW is, I mean, look, their freaking tagline is where the best wrestle. So this is where the best wrestle. I don't know if you would call Goldberg the best wrestler in the world, right? His call to fame was never about his in-ring style, right? It was about his presence, his persona, the mystique, the just going out there and absolutely demolishing his opponents. That's what Goldberg was held for. That's what Goldberg was known to be all about. And when you don't have that in a 25-minute match, well, things kind of fall apart. He wasn't necessarily the strongest promo in the world, but he got his message apart. Who's next? I mean, that's pretty simple. In a WCW documentary back in the day, I think it came out in like 2009, 2010, something like that. It was the rise and fall of WCW. The Peacock version, Netflix version, does not do its justice. I have, still to this day, it's one of my favorite documentaries. It's a 3-disc set. And in that, Goldberg talked about how he came up with the Who's Next tagline, which was he was out at dinner one night, and the waiter came up and said, all right, who's next? And it just dawned on him. He's like, oh, this is a great freaking idea. I'm going to do that. So that's how we got that